Welcome, everyone. Backstage of Theater of the Mindset. I'm your kind and generous DM, Justin Gerardot, and this week I am backstage frantically looking for all of my notes that I seemingly have misplaced, and I'm currently shuffling around on the floor. With us, we have Nick Traeger. Nick, where are you?
I'm actually down the street at the a popcorn stand, like one of those ones that have like a million different flavors.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, you can go to all the different ones. I'm trying to make a Chicago mix, but the caramel corn is too vanilla, and I'm very upset about it.
That sounds wonderful, but you need to be here backstage, so please hurry up. Shelby Myers, where are you?
I have found the door to the place under the stage, and I've got one of those fake torches that's just a flashlight and a fan that makes the fabric glow, and I'm exploring under the stage like I'm Indiana Jones.
Love that. And Steve Edinger, where are you?
I am still in my dressing room on the border of a panic attack because my hair just does not look right, and I just can't go out in public like this.
Yeah, very relatable. Thank you all so much for joining. We just finished season 1 of Theater of the Mindset. Everyone, so exciting. Wow. Act 3 really hit the ground running. I am super excited to kind of cover a lot of the heavy hitting moments that I want to discuss. But first, I want to kind of just throw it out to you all and kind of just ask the high level question of, did you all imagine that we would end up here, and kind of where and how do you feel coming out of this, given where we started at the beginning, just like kind of investigating a little uprising in a no town backcountry road? Does that phrase make sense?
I mean, how could you ever predict everything that was going to happen? I feel like I knew it was going to come down to either killing the king or something. I don't think I necessarily knew I was going to try to just completely eliminate that soul from existence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I early on, there was always a little bit of conflict, even if not directly between Harry and Lucan, a little conflict brewing between Council of Faith and the Senate, Harry's designs for the Senate versus Lucan's like devotion to the Church of Boz and, place within that entity. I had no clue at any point how we were going to progress through that story without it turning into like Lucan and Harry just having some kind of like true schism that I think we would have figured it out, but just from the like above the table playing perspective, like how do you have two characters who have at the outset diametrically opposed views of how like society should work? I had no prediction for where we were going to end up there, but I'm really happy with how all of that progressed, especially through the third act, as decisions had to be made and were made.
Yeah, I think we started knowing that it was going to be political intrigue, which like is a specific in a genre, but is not specific in any amount of story, which is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like I think we started off with some really interesting, I think, characters that had just tons of runway. I think between having an outsider in Sarah and having two very different insiders with Lucan and Harry, I think I definitely didn't expect or didn't have any concept of exactly where we go. Obviously, there's left turns on left turns, but I think I felt really confident. I was just like, oh, we've got like the stage is set so well, not to make a pun on Backstage, but it is set so well for like a very good set of conflicts.
And I think like to piggyback on that, just like Justin did such a good job of listening to the seeds that we were laying, that we didn't necessarily know that we were planting seeds when we were doing things, and then just like tying those up in ways that were unexpected was just so fun.
Yeah, I think a great example of that is just the Towers and Flowers, which was like an offhand comment in episode 1, becomes this huge symbol both with like an interaction between Luke and Baaz, and then just like having the Towers and Flowers piece in Harry's pocket when it all goes down at the Senate, from just like an offhand comment. Right, like you made up this game, the strategic board game, and I was like, "Ooh, perfect! Let's take that and run with it."
It's like a true lesson in symbolism, you know. It was like really great.
When are we starting our Kickstarter for the home play version of Towers and Flowers?
Yeah. I don't want to have to go back and listen to my improv rules and get sense of that.
The thing is, I don't know if we really improv'd a lot of rules.
Yeah, you're right. I think you bring up kind of a thing that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about, which is kind of from our initial sit down session 0 inception of your characters, kind of taking a minute and going around the room and kind of taking the time to really talk about from that moment to where your character ended. How do you kind of envision the differences between what your initial idea was and kind of what the end product is? Because I think for me, nothing is real until it kind of comes out in the podcast. And so you can have this idea of like, oh, I want A, B, and C. And then as you start playing them, find, oh, actually they're L, R, and like milk. You know, like there's nothing like what I really envisioned. But I would love to kind of hear a little bit about each of your characters' kinds of inceptions to final product and how what worked, what didn't, and kind of what really shined.
I'll go first because I can't answer this question well because I think if I failed on anything is I don't think Harry changed that much. I think Harry was on a bullet train the entire show a little bit. I think at most I think we set out the two things I knew about Harry were senator that wants more power for the Senate and believes in this like more egalitarian thing, thinks a small council and a king is fucked, and then has a mild complication that his nephew is the king. And like I didn't know how much the nephew as king would actually come up when it came time to play, but like obviously I knew there was going to be some family stuff. But I actually Justin and I recorded the postlude sort of bit separate a little bit later, and like Harry is still on that train a little bit, and at some point he's going to crash and burn out so hard because I think he like started on this like man on a mission, and so I not tons and tons of changes, but I think really like, and I think it helped me a lot as a player to really know what Harry's goals were. I think Harry knew what he wanted, Harry knew what he was after, and I think stayed pretty consistent with it. So that's an answer of oops, I didn't do that. But
I mean, what I loved about playing with Harry at the table was that you were kind of constantly always adapting to the ever-changing story around you. And that's what was changing about Harry. Like you didn't go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to have to adjust for like a fake king. Like you weren't planning on going into this being like, I'm going to hold a knife to the throat of the gods. Like this, that wasn't your degree of 100%. Your plan, but you held to your character's views and then adjusted those views based on that scenario. So I would say Harry did change, even if he's an adult. Like adults change a lot less in their personhood, but I think Harry did change his goals, even if the principles remained the same.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think the best like imagery I can think of is either like you talk about plumbing, like water goes wherever it's gonna go. You could force it to move, or like a Plinko from Price is Right. Yeah. Like Harry was on a trajectory. He's going to end up down there somewhere, and then Justin or the world or the universe kept throwing like, what about this? And Harry's like, I'm still headed that direction. I will dance around these pieces to make that work. But that's great. Love that.
Sarah definitely changed a lot. Huge change.
Yeah.
I knew at the beginning that that was kind of her journey, was discovering who she was. And I started very much in a place where trapped between two worlds as being a ward, and so having these roots and this magic that she didn't understand, but then also having a culture that didn't accept her, and just kind of, I think ultimately the arc and the story that she followed, this almost feels just like this is part one of Sarah, is kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
That I think, you know, if I imagine like where she's going, like this was the stage one for Sarah as an evolution as a person. I think that in stage one, it was her discovering the whole time she's like trying to find people that she trusts and like constantly asking questions, constantly second guessing herself, constantly being mad because she feels like she doesn't have all the information and she feels like people are hiding things from her. So she has this lack of self-respect, honestly, because she's constantly leaning on these other people to validate her. And the moment that switches for her is when she, after the fight on the Hill of Faith, and she like summons the bat creature and she kills Imogen and all this, that very much, that moment with Amunet felt like that kind of turning point. And then she has that talk with Harry after she communes with Amunet, and that is the moment that she stops leaning on other people and she starts making choices for herself. And I noticed like throughout the combat, all of a sudden Sarah is like telling people what to do and she's taking charge and she's kind of leading in that moment. And that ultimately what it came down to was Sarah made the decision to release the Incarnate King, and nobody told her to do that. Nobody confirmed that that was the right decision. She just knew, this is what I'm gonna do. And so I see, you know, if I think about her, you know, her becoming the, what was it, the Witch of Sand and Fire, which was just epic and awesome. And so now I see her, you know, we find out at the end that Sarah is like kind of on a mission for Asher, kind of, and it's loose of what that means. And I think ultimately where she's headed is to take care of the nothing. Because if the incarnate soul is the thorn in the side of the nothing, now we have to deal with the nothing.
The ever existential dread of the nothing.
Right. The climate change that's looming over all of us.
I think Sarah really had a lot of like little mini, each arc kind of had a moment for Sarah to really kind of self-assess some things and kind of put her at a kind of a, not a tipping point necessarily, but generally like at a crossroads where her magic was tested or kind of her goals were tested. And here in this final space, I think your choice of consistently referring to it as like freeing the soul, I think was a great choice, because it was Sarah saying, this is the narrative that I'm going to choose and set forth for myself and for this person. It wasn't a it was like a whole decision that Sarah held onto for herself. And yeah, I think you really swung for the full, I don't know the swung for the,
you can do it.
The fences?
Thank you. Swung for the fences on that.
Baseball?
I thought it was great. A really exciting moment for sure.
Yeah.
A great moment of personal growth for Steve is that he did not jump to fill in fences for Justin.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna get there. I'm not confident.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know that I'm confident I was gonna get there.
When I think back to my initial conception of Lucan and kind of what we talked about, like setting the stage for where Lucan was going to fit in the world, I think my perception of him was going to be much more, I think what you'd say like traditional, like paladin-y, like holy warrior who's like pretty devout to all of this, to his faith, doesn't ask a ton of questions, doesn't want to mess with that structure. And when the cult got introduced, I think in my head it was going to be a little bit of like his main temptation was going to be like, do these cultists have something to offer him? You know, is there, just like temptation in that way. It quickly became something different, I think, for Lucan, because that very first arc in Charnwick, being confronted with oppression, being confronted with a direct conflict between what he was ordered to go do and the consequences of that order, quickly pivoted to, oh, the folks in charge here just do not see what I'm seeing. The folks in charge of this church they're blind. They're not bad people. Well, some of them kind of were. But it became much more of a, like, where is Lucan's place in all of this, as opposed to, like, is Lucan going to be tempted away by this other entity? And so, if anything, I was concerned, especially back during Arc 1, that I gave in too quickly. Like, I did not hold on to that initial conception of, like, no, I am part of this church and I want the church to advance. Like, it took one, set of confrontation with, like, the Ur Nation folks and, like, the oppression and the hunger strike for Lucan to be like, yeah, fuck that. Like, this, we can't be supporting this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that took the character, at least for me, in a much more interesting direction to play. Because it, back to what I talked about, like, my first kind of run on this episode, it gave me a way to make the potential conflict with Harry much more interesting, as opposed to just two people butting heads. And it gave Lucan a lot to work with Sarah in terms of, like, what is right, Lucan. Like, that how the Ur Nation folks is being treated is unacceptable, and it gave us something to latch onto for our characters to go through, if not together. Like, it gave Lucan a place in that a little bit.
Yeah, I would jump in, and also, like, it made the potential, like, Lucan and Harry, which ended up being a very soft, like, nice, tender moment.
Absolutely,
but, like, it made that way more interesting than power versus power.
Right,
because
yes.
Lucan had gone through that change of, I'm on the inside, and now the outside is fucked, and I'm trying to, like, walk some third path. So you had a nuanced path there, as opposed to just, like, continuing to argue, which makes it a more interesting story.
It didn't boil down to, Harry, you're making me pick between your vision for things and my mentor Archon Felix, who is infallible. Like, we know from the first time he's on screen that Felix is fallible.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's a corny thing that a corny thing that I might delete from this podcast if I don't like the way it sounds. It is, like, I had not thought about this, but there is a very body, mind, soul between the three PCs in this show. I think Lucan is deeply, like, call it body, heart, body, mind, soul of Venethar itself, of this, like, the religious grouping, like this sort of body of people sort of a thing. I think Sarah Shelby was the heart of the story, and there's, like, huge character individual growth there, and I think Harry was the mind of it. And, like, how do I weasel through these things? How do we solve these problems? Like, the number of times Shelby / Sarah went, "What do we do, Harry?" is that thing, and I think that's actually really interesting. And I hadn't considered the that's interesting.
Yeah,
unintentional, unplanned.
I do like that. I kind of going into the creating of this plot line, I had a couple of visions for myself, and one of them was this was kind of like an ode to kind of what friendship has represented in my life specifically, and which is why I wanted the cast to be close friends who eventually have found themselves in a position of power, which I think puts interesting options and spins on just political intrigue. And I think it created wonderful opportunities, like some of the conversations that Harry had, honestly, with all of the PCs and Asher, that were more than just, hey, you're, the king, or you're the prelate, or you're like an important witch, but also like, you're a friend of mine and I trust you and we have history and I can speak to that. And I think in a way that an artist can truly only dream of, it's nice to having listened to some of these final episodes and hear that desire for that ode to friendship kind of ring true a little bit. And
love that.
The individual strengths that each person I think brings can easily be filtered through that lens of like the body, the mind, the heart, and dare I say Asher being the soul. Not
anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Was he ever? Speaking of, if I can do a self-insert, I had no intention of Asher being a hothead.
You argued against it. You said, no, he's not. What are you talking about?
I was distinctly surprised when an accusation of Asher being a hothead was first thrown out. I was like, what are you talking about? And then you guys all started laying out literal receipts of like, well, he did this when this happened, and then he did that, and then he yelled, and I was like,
He Darth Vader force choked a woman. He did. the thing they do to show how evil Darth Vader is in the first 10 seconds on screen, Asher does.
So your choices were then either he's a hothead or he did it like with premeditation because he thought it was the right thing to be doing.
I think as the person playing Asher, I stand by my choices for him.
Sure.
Not because I distinctly think of him as a hothead, but because I think of him as this person who has been pressed upon time and time and time again that he is like, that he needs to have the people and his position of power at the forefront of his mind at all times. And then when he finds himself in a position where something is directly opposed to what he knows to be good, in a world where he is a sorcerer and like has a like essentially like a nuke that he can like fine tune and say like only destruction here, I think he's going to naturally want to take advantage of that. And I think that really came out in the, maybe not the force choke scene, that was maybe a bit more hot-headed, but the scene in the Capitol, in the attack on the Hill of Faith, when he is like getting close to burning himself out because he is, or flaring himself out because he is willing to push himself as far as possible. Also, shout out to just the excellent level of the production value that you bring, Nick. The scenes feel great without it. I think we all really bring that action to life. But when you put underneath the scoring and the sound effects, I do love that there canonically, I guess, is an ambulance in Sariel. Like it uses the same siren tones that we use specifically here in the US.
Hey, it works.
Is very funny to me. And yeah, I canonically can't wait to justify that someday.
That is a thing I've had to like. Everything is decisions, right? You're just making calls with all of this, and you just have to. And so there is shorthands are necessary. And so finding that out through scoring and editing, which is in doing all these sound effects and stuff, which is the first time I've ever done it. And so having to make the call of like, yes, is it a little silly if you spend a lot of time thinking about there being an ambulance? We've not talked about cars. We've not talked about this for sure. But the shorthand of it being tucked back there, if you don't think about it, or if it's not drawn too much attention, is stress and anxiety and worry for the listener, I think. As someone who listened to it walking, I was like, oh, yeah. I'm not clocking the ambulance every time, but it's coming every 30 seconds. And it's that whole episode theoretically should be just a little stressful, intense to listen to. And like the same thing with like chugging strings the whole time. That whole episode, that whole battle is the same tempo and the same like super driving thing. And it just feels like it doesn't stop the whole time. And it's really fun. Anyway, so yes, it is silly, some of the things that make it in, but you're just like, sometimes you just have to use the shorthand, right?
Yeah,
like you just have to like communicate it as fast as possible. Cliches exist for a reason. Yeah.
I say that a lot.
Yeah,
I say Asher, or Asher says God a lot.
Yeah.
Objectively be gods, if there's a curse at all to that.
We're developing the world.
Yeah, I specifically did want to call it also in that scene, the way you summoned your first golem by like tapping bricks.
Yeah.
It was such a
That was
cool, because we had leveled up and I had not asked what everyone had picked up as a part of that level, so it was a surprise to me. And I loved having Asher like mimic your own spell back at you.
One up.
Yeah.
Mimic my ass.
It was a lot of fun.
Hothead. No, that was a very fun scene, and that was like kind of out of nowhere. I remember us about to like finishing the episode of Harry in a bar, Sarah checking in with the Soup Kitchen folks, and Lucan going to show off his new tattoo. The handprint.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that was a funny joke. Fine.
Let's re-record that. Let's go. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Fine. I'll supercut in a laugh. But like, I think I don't think that fight was planned at all, if I remember correctly, Justin.
Correct. I just remember being like, wow, nothing's happening. I'm going to spend a fear to make something happen.
And you made a huge thing happen.
I guess this is where we face Isarn.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing that's happening.
Yeah. I think definitely by Act 3, since we had at that point probably been playing Daggerheart for, my goodness, 72 some hours of actual playtime, we're feeling a lot more comfortable in the system, and could just be like, I feel like they've talked enough. I'd like to play a fear now, and just amp up 0 to 60 the action that is happening. Is really enjoyable. Speaking of action that is happening, I forgot it in the moment, and then I also forgot it in the re-listen. Harry and the light knife.
Yeah.
In the re-listen too, I was equally surprised.
If only he had any skills with martial stuff,
right.
that it would have worked. That was the most disappointing role for me the entire season.
The planning was incredible. The execution,
Yeah.
Just a little desperate Bastion, unfortunately, still has a one-up on Harry physically.
It didn't take long for me to take care of him, though.
Yeah, that's true. It was a great use of the runic circle or the magic circle.
Harry just wants people to leave him alone and go away.
That's how Connie felt too afterwards, after that scene progressed. He just immediately went into, I think I really amped up Connie's.
I was going to say, you put Connie up to 10.
Connie immediately pivoted hard after that traumatic experience and really needed coddled a little bit.
That was really fun. I think I cut this out of the episode, but I was tossing around going into that whole thing. I was like, I want to go talk to Connie about switching up the bill and all this stuff. And then I was just like, or do I need to go talk to the first senator? And like, Justin said, "Oh, do you want to go talk to Connie?" With like a absolutely like shit-eating green, like, and so like we did the first senator with Olin Pinneray or whatever, and which was an awesome scene and really fun. And then went to go see Connie, and like I said out loud, and I think it got removed. Am I gonna have to fucking kill Connie? That was truly where I was just like, fuck, like I'm going to go find out that Connie's Custodia Sanguis and has been at it for fucking decades, and I'm gonna have to go kill this man.
You might have had like player revolt if you had made us. If anything bad had happened to Connie that wasn't like of his own Connie-ness.
Not nearly to the point that Beanie, I think, would have gotten the revolt, because she truly was the most treasured NPC. I loved the behind the scenes things just for me of like, are Beanie and Jack a thing? What were they doing together that evening that they were? I know Harry sent them out, but like they were doing something together that evening that they just happened to be. She didn't answer that question. No one specifically asked her, but she probably wouldn't have answered it anyway.
She's allowed to have a life outside of work, okay?
I don't think had an interest before then, but now she's like a busy head of a department. So more to come.
Jack didn't get a lot of screen time, but every scene that Jack was in was funny.
Yep.
Every moment Jack was in was funny.
Yeah. Same with Glenn. Shout out to Glenn.
Same with
Glenn.
My favorite
Yeah.
troop member.
I think that Glenn is probably my NPC MVP for Arc 3.
Yeah.
The most surprised I was by Justin playing
Same.
an NPC.
Same. Yeah. With the exception of the one NPC, the no-named assassin who tried to assault you in the alleyway, who thought about calling Sarah a bitch. Held back for just
I cackled in my car listening to that.
Yeah, it's so good. You can hear me and Justin getting close to saying the word and then being like, no, I don't feel comfortable saying that, and then you just pouncing on it. It was so good. So good.
Oh, jeez.
I like that is like the line we do, because there is a line, I think it's the last episode, where I say "son of a biscuit." Like that.
I later call someone a bitch. Like it didn't. There were definitely moments, but I think that character then felt the menacing look that Sarah was giving.
Yep.
Well, that character came in hot with power.
Yeah.
And everything went wrong for them from the moment they quote unquote stepped into view. Literally like fireball repudiated, grasped with vines, like nothing, accomplished nothing that they thought they were going to do. And so I think that is a good sign of them going I'm confident. I believe in this. I'm less confident. I'm
exactly.
Less confident.
It was a very funny pivot. Another good example of I'm going to use fear to hopefully ramp up the scene. It ramped up in a way. In a fashion, things got more exciting.
Yep. Yeah, by the end of that, Harry's just looking at his phone, where are these fucking guards? That's how Harry's ending this scene. Which is, again, just telling, Harry doesn't want to fight. Harry's just where are the big strong guys? What the fuck is happening?
Your next bill is going to be addressing response times for emergency.
There were so many in contrast to the other acts, and I mean logically so, Act 3 just had so much more action that was a direct result of a lot of the choices you guys had made leading up to that. We had built a pretty cool Rosinium City environment that allowed both me as the director, GM, and you as players to always have something to kind of look to spend some hope on. You guys all got cool items in this arc that allowed you to kind of take some big narrative swings. I think overall we were just kind of really playing around with the system in a way that we could not do in Act 1 at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Even the quote unquote downtime was moving, because I think, and we talked about this when we were recording, of just okay, final arc, this is, everything wraps up, everything is happening now, because everyone's bad guys are uncovered. Harry's made for sure. By Bastion at the end of Arc 2. I can't remember if that's the end of Arc 2 or
I think 3. So.
And so officially Harry's now known by the Cassette Sanguis as fucking around with their shit. And so everything, there are no more secrets. There are obviously plenty of secrets, but everything's, the can's opened. Which is really fun. And so even the downtime stuff is really intense because you're still plotting and trying to make sense of stuff. Speaking of the items, I think Lucan going Super Saiyan is still one of my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's just the most OP fun thing.
Yeah.
It still felt good too. It wasn't OP in a bad way.
In those moments, and even listening back, even with that hand of change, that one-time use I had, I didn't feel like Lucan was 100% out of the woods.
Yeah.
It didn't feel until Isarn was dead. Did not feel like that was a auto win button. That was, I was genuinely nervous playing that for Lucan. Not in the sense of that I would be unprepared if it went south, or not know where to go. Wouldn't have, but we're improvising, so that's part of it. But the tension in that entire episode was like honestly the most I have felt invested in a tabletop campaign in my years of doing this.
Which like I think separating us as the PCs I think added to that tension. There's no one coming to save anyone, kind of like particularly for you guys. Obviously I'm there with Asher and 40 dudes, but for the two of you, you're out on your own trying to solve these problems, and so you go down. There's no cleric around the corner coming to solve it for you.
I had kind of shared the items that I'd created online. I'd shared them online, and people. I got a lot of really good feedback, and then people had said that the Hand of Change, the Avatar of Change item, was too strong. But there's
the point.
like, but
that's
I would
God
also,
power.
like, I counter in my head knowing my campaign and like knowing the story you were telling, and I'm like thinking to in my head, like the problems I'm putting in front of my PCs are like nigh impossible to solve without this level of like me saying yes and to whatever you want to do, right? Like giving you a like, you know, potential for 5 crits isn't that big of a deal when the problem is you're fighting 40 dudes by yourself and one of them is immune to magic. Like
you gave me 5 crits for a 6 crit problem. Like
and also at the end of it, do you want to save one to maybe save your god? Like
right, because there was more to it than just the combat encounter, right? Like, and like you said, an item is only overpowered if you don't put a sufficient challenge in front of the person using that item, right? Like you have control over how that goes.
That's a really boring combat if all 3 of us are just standing around fighting 10, or, you know what I mean?
If it's just a combat of who can get the other team's HP down to 0, then I would argue that like, is that really the combat that is like a Arc 3 combat at this point? That's like an Arc 1 combat. Like HP that's when that matters. You want Arc 3 combats to be about, I'm trying to get your HP down to 0. You guys are trying to accomplish something before that happens. That should be how Arc 3 feels like, which is, I mean, I definitely stole, you know, how many different medias are there, like people jumping out of the airplane into the zone, but like, I thought that felt cool as fuck. And definitely start things off with you guys like landing and being like, okay, we've got a limited amount of time. It's just the 2 of us. Go.
I got real worried. I thought I died there.
I did too.
I almost died.
Daggerheart, I have brushed up on my Daggerheart death rules. They're not as simple as I would like them ultimately to be, but once you really think about it, they do come down to pretty simple things, but it's not an easy decision, and it is pretty frightening.
What was cut around you almost dying was me and Steve absolutely razzing the shit out of Justin, who had been whining and complaining for the previous 2 days about not having enough fear, and then promptly killed a PC. I don't have enough fear.
I have. Yes, you know, sometimes your monsters, your adversaries are fear suckers, and sometimes they're fear generators, and that's the way it happens.
No, that was a really good, like, very tense scene, and it worked out great. But huge.
Yeah, I think really everyone had such good tense moments, and really made all of the characters feel grounded in their final decisions, even if they're still I have exciting bits of information now and pieces to the next puzzle on future seasons. You know, what's it mean that the gods have had their faith withheld from them for a period of time? Like, this Venetharan theocracy government is changing its tune a little bit, and how do gods who are used to having their the ability to meddle directly into the affairs of mortals, how will they respond to that kind of scenario? What does the birth of a new witch mean? How does a god getting the domain of change influence their behavior? I have peeked behind the screen, thought that maybe Baaz will start to see like a lot more like lycanthropes start to follow Baaz.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That would like correspond with change.
Hashtag new class from Daggerheart.
Right? Yeah, transformations coming out with Daggerheart feels like very well timed for me. Baaz.
100%.
That's cool.
Yeah. I like it was coming out of it. Going into season 1, wanted the end of season 2 to have a very clear jumping off point for future seasons, and I definitely feel like I feel like I've got that. I think Harry's final words about like, you know, this is the story we have to write feels and rings very true.
It's very fun. I'll turn a question on to you, Justin, that you kind of posed to us. Did the season land or end where you thought it was going to? Like, obviously, you had a roadmap. Obviously, PCs fuck your shit up all the time. But,
yeah,
like, did you foresee the end of a theocracy or, you know, any of these things coming down the pike at you?
I mean,
did you see Asher not being the king by the end of this, or at least for this reason?
Full disclosure, no. I really thought that the season would end with you all freeing, not in like a kill kind of way, but free in a, hey, we're breaking you free, the true incarnate king, but then the rest is up to you. And like letting the incarnate king go, and then potentially splitting the party and being like, I could see Harry and Lucan saying, no, we have to stay with Asher and like uphold this king, and Sarah going with the true incarnate king, and like potentially being like, no, we're gonna lead a rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you initially had mentioned potential like civil war as being like the next season after.
Yeah. That spoilers, that had felt like a very real possibility, like a civil war. But with the incarnate king like fully dying and being released, that spell kind of ending, and Asher being a hothead and just like kind of going at it and kind of ending that line. We now have this spot where the gods are feeling tense in their positions. And so it's a different kind of civil war. Maybe not civil war, but there's a different kind of tension in the air.
Yeah, it's not Venethar-centric anymore. It's not this country split. It's like the world just got weirdly fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the foundations of how this world understands itself to work is no longer certain, right? Like,
how does magic work now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite choices that I got to make, was to pitch the idea of like asking people to withhold a resource from gods.
Yeah.
That was like, I think one of my biggest swings and my favorite, like, fuck your shit up, Justin.
Yeah.
Moments. I loved it. It was so fun to do. It felt so crazy. It felt wild.
But from my perspective, like, I love those kinds of moments. Like, as the kind of DM that I am, in general, I will always accept those kinds of big swings in the right moments. And I think that is like here, then that was totally the right moment. You know, if we're in episode 1 or 2 or session 1 and 2 of a home game, that is not the moment to be like really throwing my shit up. Like, like, please, we have a goal here in mind. But in like the last fourth of a campaign, I would hope for any player to always feel empowered to be making the decisions for their characters. Like Lucan being in a position to, do you want like Baaz to have change? What does change mean within the context of religion? For Sarah, like, what does the future of the Nation hold? Does justice need to be met out? I think there's an argument to be made that, like, did Sarah, like, seek a little bit of that by, I wanted you to have these kind of big swing moments on what to do with this person, and Harry just like, what is the future of this kingdom? Like, I want you to feel empowered to make those swings, and then give me months to decide for the next campaign, so that you can be new characters and then like have your own reactions to your own decisions.
I think that was the Arc 3 in particular was the most I feel like I have had as a PC, as a player, agency in a story, truly, of just like, okay, like, stage is set at this point, and like we're bringing ideas to the table and big decisions and moving the story in a way that I don't think I've ever had the opportunity. I don't know if that's true of you guys.
Yeah, no, I felt that. And I think also just like Sarah's arc as a character also reflected a lot of Shelby's arc as a player. And just like me getting comfortable of like fucking other people's shit up. And like, you know, I think that a lot of the beginning of it was me worried that a choice I made is going to fuck something else up for somebody else, and I'm going to, you know, mess with it in some way. And then by the end of it, it was a lot of just like me as a person realizing that like that's part of it. That's the story that we're telling. Like you need to make those choices in order to make it interesting. And so yeah, it's just like a lot of personal growth, and it's been really fun listening to it back, and I'm like, oh, if I ever get a chance to do this again, now I'm like I feel a lot more confident that I can like do some shit, you know.
I think for me, like, it took though that first arc to gain not just that confidence, like with the Dagger Heart rule system, but like to learn what the boundaries of this world were, so we knew where we could push against them effectively, and knew what was like interesting fucking with the story or interesting bold decision making versus like what Justin was saying before. It's like maybe episode 2 don't like don't knock down the tower, but like we also, I think, really quickly the 3 players figured out how to play off of each other really well, and I think it empowered all of us as we went through, and especially into Arc 3, to understand that like, hey, I trust the other 2 of you at the table. If you're taking a big swing I don't necessarily see right off the bat, we're gonna figure it out. Like it's gonna be something interesting.
Which I think the flashback as the first episode, obviously it doesn't feel low stakes in the back, you know, in hindsight with Sarah and Aminette, but like I think we had the opportunity in that first episode to play a low stakes version of ourselves and like take those weird swings and take the like developing Lucan's personality as he's flirting or trying to like get to know your girl on the
flirting
party.
So effectively,
like, like, you know, and seeing Asher and like all of this, I think is a huge rose to that of, you know, getting us started to then flesh out these characters more as we went and flesh out the relationship. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. To kind of close us out, any point in the season roses that we want to kind of toss out to each other, I think would be really good. I will just in general toss out the kind of escape from the lighthouse. I think it's like the whole lighthouse scene feels really fun, but like we have Lucan kind of flying out with Glenn Robinsoner,
Glenn Robinson,
and he's like kicking his legs, but he can't teleport because it makes him sick. Like that's like to me fun ways to use fear. Just be like, haha, it's a silly reason why, but it's still a reason why you can't. And then Harry using the teleport to fly the eagles into each other.
Oh my gosh.
So silly.
It was like, just roses all around. And then led into like, I think arguably the first tense disagreement and argument with all of you and Asher. Just like all of that kind of leading into each other felt really, really good.
Mm-hmm. So good. I man, because everything that came after the lighthouse was also just big and intense, and I just got done editing the finale. I just somehow forgot about how fun that scene was.
It's very
how
fun.
big that scene was.
Yeah, it's very fun.
I will say, Rose, for me, at the very end, everything with Sarah and Aminette, the stakes on that felt so high the entire time. And I remember at the table, it being one of the times it was most apparent to me of like, if this dice roll doesn't work, where do we go from here? Like, usually, especially when I'm playing my own character, I have a little bit of a, like, if I screw this up, like, here's how I can pivot, or like, we can find a path forward. The end stuff with Sarah and Aminette, like, I was so worried for you.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that I got to reference back to the arc 1 thing that I took from you.
Yeah.
Was your like healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had been like sitting on that that failure, I think that success with fear for a little bit. And that felt
Yeah,
really
it's because
good.
it was every spellcast roll succeeded.
You're so good at rolling.
You were just
spellcast
waiting
rolls,
for me to fail a spellcast roll.
Yeah.
And what a time. That was
Yeah.
perfect. That was perfect.
I actually loved the like, and it's not a character. The NPC Erica Reinhold wasn't like an important NPC, but just Steve, your choice to go spread a rumor, go like show this like antagonistic new leader of the Church of Boz, like that you're basically now the anointed, and throw the church into chaos and be like, it's a ballsy fun move, and then have your wings kind of clipped was a very powerful, fun. It wasn't a long scene, but it like spoke so much to like where Lucan was and where you were going, because like you're actively fighting and chasing Isarn and the Cult of Metamorphosis, and now you're actively also being antagonistic towards the home church.
Right, like I had no friends left,
Yeah.
like other than you two.
100%, which is really cool and really interesting.
Yeah. And then also just Nick's all of the inspirational speeches before going into the final battle, and just using that as your bardic inspiration. Just the preparation.
I was up late that night before.
It paid off.
That was I think that was that whole thing was the first thing we did that day, and I was like, here's 4, it's effectively 4 scenes, because I also wrote the address, the like get me on the radio.
Just all these monologues.
Yeah, and I was like, that was fun. That was super
Steve
fun.
and I just sitting back, we were like, damn.
It was like, because like I don't know that Harry reads as Bard all the time, and so like it was really fun to make sure that I was like bringing back like, oh yeah, this is a Bard, like whole ass, and how do we explain that sort of a thing?
But then it really set you up well for that finale.
Yeah,
because it made your stuff back in the city have so much more weight and importance to it.
It was honestly in that moment I feel mildly bad, because I think Justin, you even said when we were recording the vote, which is also like just a great scene, you're just like, at one point tried to pitch me to do a speech, and I was like, I've done my speeches. And like it just didn't make sense. Like I think Harry had his moments or whatever, and had been like out in the thing, and so I actually loved, if anyone comes at us about that being a heavy Justin scene, I think it's what it needed to be. Like I think that's, Harry had been moving chess pieces or towers and flowers pieces for days at that point, and like now it's just like, cool, this works or it doesn't, and if it doesn't,
you're not going to talk anyone into something at that point. And like your speeches had been of escalating importance, and I think we had hit the peak. I think it was,
so you're just waiting for the results of the thing, which is really I felt was really satisfying, and really enjoyed watching it take place.
We had kind of worked collaboratively on many of the scenes there towards the end. It was rarely me being like, all right, I've got the next scene, let's jump into it, I'm going to start describing. We often were like sitting together at a table kind of discussing where do we feel like the story is taking us collectively, and had kind of waffled on, is the end of this story Asher saying, what have we done? We've made a huge mistake. And it felt like this was the end of the story we had been telling. but it distinctly does not feel like the end of the story. And I think that that's exciting. I don't think that this is the last we've seen of any of these characters, in at least in some capacity. And with the way that we intend to kind of work this podcast, I am excited to weave in references to these characters and continue to see what they plan on doing in the future. Because I think they are movers and shakers, and this is not. They are, in fact, still writing. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, man. This was so much fun.
This was so
Like, this
fun.
whole season was so fun to make. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. I'm really glad that we started with Faith and Fortune. I'm really glad the way it turned out. Couldn't have predicted by any means.
No, not
Yeah.
at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
And so now, I mean, we get to sort of announce / talk about the next season being
Yeah.
a much different, a big tone shift.
Yeah.
A big tone shift. If you want to give a little teaser, Justin.
Yeah, big tone shift. We're going to shrink, not to say too much, we're going to shrink down the story scope quite a lot, focus on a much more localized story, and embrace the themes of summer, I think, a little bit, and also change systems. We're going to go back to good old D&D, just plain 5th edition.
Nope, it's 2024.
I'm
Well, I guess it was a
kidding.
mix.
Yeah, it's a mix. I think it's a mix. So I guess 5.5 edition.
I know
Officially
I was
5.5.
I know I was playing a Battlemaster in 2024, but I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
if
you're
anyone
right.
else was.
It is. It's a mix.
Yeah.
And just kind of tell like a little bit more of a quote on a non-traditional or a more traditional story before we come back to this. But that story will take place before all of this occurred, a number of decades prior, when Esau was still king, and before the Custodia Sanguis was ever talked about. So.
Out loud.
Simpler
At
times.
least out loud. But some of these characters you will have maybe heard of or have been referenced, so they won't entirely be strangers. So, all exciting. With season 2 going and returning to D&D, we're doing a camp story, and so I have spent a lot more time DMing in Dungeons and Dragons, and while I think my theater kid background is more excited about what Daggerheart is doing, especially here in 2026, and all of the hope and fear stuff that's coming out. I think with D&D, we're going to be flexing a lot more of system mastery and using that to our advantage to tell still a little bit of an alternative story. I kind of called it a traditional campaign, but it's still like it's teenagers at a summer camp, so not very traditional in that sense.
No.
But it is pure adventurers solving a problem, and so in that sense it is a lot more traditional, and I'm excited. A larger cast with a much bigger group and a lot more ha-has, I think. So,
Some more ha-has, not saving the world, not saving the country.
saving the world, not saving the
I mean,
country.
it's a
It's not
smaller
clear that we
story.
did save the world.
Yeah. not dealing with world-ending
Right.
stuff. Yeah. It's very fun. I'm excited for everyone to hear it.
The other thing I'll plug, this will be like way in advance, but if you are interested in wildly meeting some of us, we'll be at Gen Con. I will be hosting a Daggerheart game, Real House Spouses of Bravo Bay, on Thursday at 1 p.m. in the JW room 108. Come say hi, and the table is full, but I'll be there before and afterwards, just chatting and plugging Theater of the Mindset, and we'll be around at Gen Con, so feel free to add us on Instagram or on any of those things, and we'll be happy to say hi. All of us are local to Indianapolis, so Gen Con, even if we do not attend Gen Con is just a natural part of our lives, I feel like, if not for just the traffic purposes. So we'll all be out and around, and we'll be there, so yeah.
Sign us off,
Otherwise,
Justin.
yeah. Otherwise, Follow us on all of your social media platforms. Be sure to give us a like and a review. We would love to see some reviews as we close out the end of this first season and kick off the second. We're super excited. We've got a ton of great content remaining for the rest of the year and beyond. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks, y'all.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool. You happy, Justin?
You've been listening to Faith and Fortune by Theater of the Mindset. Our actual players this season are Steve Edinger, Shelby Myers, Nick Traeger, and your kind and generous GM, Justin Gerardot. Audio engineering, post-production, and scoring is done by Nick Traeger at Studio 3607. If you're enjoying the show, you can help us grow with no capital investment by sharing it with a friend, following us on Instagram and Reddit, writing us a review on your favorite podcatcher, or you can chip in for coffee at our Patreon. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on Theater of the Mindset.